Hey, gamer friends, I'm Danielle.
And I'm Josiah,
and we are ready to roll.
We've made a lot of mistakes in our board gaming journey, haven't we?
So many mistakes.
Yeah, we should talk about that.
I think we should definitely. But before we talk about it, we should talk about how 70% of our viewers are not subscribed.
Come on, guys.
Please just subscribe.
Hit that subscribe button and like this video.
It'll really help us out.
It does.
Now we can talk about mistakes.
Okay. So, the first mistake we want to talk about is playing a game when you're not really in the mood to play, or if maybe it's a bad time to play.
Like right after a fight?
Like right after a fight. Yeah, that's a good time to not play a board game.
Yes. We may or may not have made that mistake before.
But definitely have. I mean, there's just times when it's not going to be a good time, an optimal time to play a game. You're not going to enjoy it as well. The whole point of a board game is to have fun and connect with the other person, which sounds like it would be productive right after a fight, but and given enough time, it probably would be. But right after a fight, probably not the best time.
Yeah, probably not. When you go into a game like that, you're just like not having a good attitude.
Right.
And maybe you won't even know like if you really like the game or not. That happens too, because you're like, was it just because I was in a bad mood? Or was it because the gameplay wasn't actually very good?
Yeah.
And so trying to kind of figure that out, you don't have to do that if you go in like actually wanting to play a game.
Right. Especially if you're playing a new game.
Right.
Like
exactly.
You want to go in with the best possible intentions and attitude so that you can get the best experience possible out of that new game.
Totally agree.
Another one is not reading the rule book. Guilty.
Yes. Okay, so I typically read most of our rule books.
Yes, I outsource my rules reading to this one.
Yes. The problem that I have personally is sometimes I'm like, yeah, I got it. And I'll skim through an important part of the rule book, but I don't know it's an important part of the rule book. Yeah. And then later I'm like, I don't understand why I'm doing this. Like, what's happened? Like, I'll know I missed something.
Right.
Then I have to go back and reread the rule book and realize what I've done, which like kind of defeats the purpose of skimming through the rule book to begin with. It doesn't actually save me any more time.
That's right. That's what happens in all of our in-person games.
Yes.
But when we play on BGA, they have the tutorials that you can walk through. And it's even hard for me to force myself to walk through those tutorials. I do, but I'm like, yeah, okay, skip. Let's go. Like, oh, yeah, I get it. Let's go. And then I don't end up understanding the game well enough to enjoy it as well as I should.
Right.
So it doesn't actually do anything positive. It doesn't save you time to not actually read the rules. You should just read the rules. Me.
Yes. And I even have tried like, hey, let's sit down and watch a rules video together. And literally like 5 seconds in, this one over here is like out. So he definitely learns better me learning the rules and teaching him how to play the game.
Yeah. I'm a tactile learner.
Yes.
Taking the wrong game to the gaming group that you're playing in is another mistake that we've made.
Definitely.
So yeah, taking a game like a gamery game or a complicated game to a gaming group that's not gamers,
right,
is a big mistake because they're not going to enjoy it. They're not going to have as much fun.
Yes, and you don't want to put people in a position where they don't, like they feel stupid or they feel like they can't catch on. And it's not that they can't.
Right.
It's just that they've never been introduced to those concepts before.
Yep.
And so when you introduce a game like that, sometimes it can have those negative effects on people.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm guilty of this. I have some trouble sometimes feeling dumb because I don't understand a game. But it's not that I can't understand it. It's just that I need to learn it, you know, and then it's a lot of fun.
Right.
And so I just have to fight that in my own self. And so I don't want to impose that on other people, you know.
For sure.
And then the flip side of that coin is taking like maybe party games or family weight games to a gaming group who wants to play more serious, complicated games.
Right.
Also a mistake.
Yes. I often think about the party game thing because sometimes you'll be like, okay, well, there's a bunch of us. There's only certain games that you can play with a big group.
Yeah.
And maybe it's not a group that really enjoys like acting silly or doing, you know, that kind of thing. And so that can be a real miss. So I think knowing your gaming group is kind of a big deal.
It's really important.
I know it doesn't matter as much like at, you know, at cons and stuff because there's all different kinds of people playing games and that's what they're there for.
Right.
But at just a normal gaming group, kind of knowing who's going to be there is a lot more helpful when you're picking out a game.
Yeah, and what their capabilities are, what their levels at as far as gaming.
Yeah, just what they would enjoy.
What they would enjoy. Yeah, exactly.
Along those same lines, another mistake that we've made is trying to teach too many new games to a gaming group. Because not everybody is into new games like we are.
Yeah.
And we get excited about new games and like we want to share it with everybody.
Right.
And so we're like, here, let me teach you this game and let me teach you this game. And we just get overly excited sometimes.
Yeah.
And not everybody wants to learn that many new games.
Right. I think this is really common in the board gaming community, the hobbyist community, where because in that community, everyone loves learning new games and playing new games all the time, but other people who aren't in that hobby don't necessarily like to learn new games all the time, and they can feel overwhelmed. They can feel like this is not fun. You know, let's play the few games that I really like, and that's where they're happy to sit, and that's okay.
Totally okay.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Well, and some people are like, you just taught me a new game.
Right.
Aren't we going to just play that game? It's almost confusing.
Yeah.
They don't really understand that, oh, there's so many games out there and I want to show all of the things that I love.
Yeah, it's like caging your excitement so that other people that you're playing with can also have fun.
Yes. And that's really the most important thing.
Yeah, and you don't overwhelm them like JoJo.
Tommy Boy
from
reference.
Tommy Boy.
Okay, another mistake that we've made is buying into the hype. So this happens when a lot of content creators are really excited about a game and maybe they've talked it up really big and I'm seeing it all over the place.
Yeah, it's getting a lot of marketing.
Yes, a lot of buzz. And I'm thinking, ooh, I want to try that. That makes me want to try it. And I go out and I buy the game and I'm really excited about it. And we sit down and play it and I'm like, you know, I'm just like, what happened?
Yeah,
you know,
I feel like I'm missing something here.
Right. Because it's just not what I was promised in my head. Not that anyone ever really promises that. It's just like in my head, what I built it up to be.
Yeah. And to be fair, this doesn't happen very often.
No, it doesn't.
In fact, I can only think of once or twice that this has happened to us.
Yeah, or, well, it's probably like
where we didn't like the game.
Oh, yes. Where we didn't like it at all, for
Yes.
sure. But there have been times where I'm like, well, that was a really good game, but it's not at the level where I thought
The
it
hype
would
was.
be. Yes.
Yeah.
And so buying into that hype. But there is also a flip side of that.
Yeah.
Ignoring a game because it hasn't had any hype.
Yeah.
Or thinking like, I'm not going to like that game because nobody's been talking about it or it hasn't been on anyone's list or whatever. And then ignoring that game and finding out that it's actually a really good game and really fun and it's a good fit for you, even if it's not a good fit for everybody else.
Or even if it's not worth a lot of hype, it still may be a great game for you.
That's right.
You know, so yeah, that's a great point.
Sometimes it's hard to spend money because you don't know, because you're like, oh, well, we like it. It seems like we will, but I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, but sometimes it's paid off when we've done that.
Yep, for sure.
Okay, so here's one of the mistakes that we have made over and over again, and we continue to make on a regular basis, and that is not playing a newer game enough times that we really like cement the rules in our brain.
Yeah.
And so we will play a great game, have a lot of fun with it, and then put it on the shelf, and then try and come back to it not that long after, but
a month or two.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you're like, I have no idea how to play this game anymore.
You have to start over.
All the way over. And it's not just like a refresher on rules.
Yeah.
This is like I have to return to the rule book and almost reread the entire thing because I cannot remember how the mechanics work or something like that.
Yeah. because refresh of the rules is going to happen and almost all the time.
All the time.
Right. But this is, if you, like you said, if it goes on the shelf for a month or two while you're playing other games and then you come back to it, you're like, what? I can't remember anything about this.
Yes.
But if we play it a few times, even,
Yes.
it doesn't even take a lot.
No.
2 or 3 times.
Yeah,
in a short period of time. Yeah, then it's like more cemented in, and you're like, okay, I got it. Now when I get it out next, it's just a refresher of the rules.
That's right.
Yeah, and we do this all the time.
All the time.
Yeah, because we have a lot of new games that we're playing all the time, and it's kind of hard actually to get a game out and play it for a few times because there's a lot of games we want to play.
Right, because we don't like to build up our whole shelf of shame.
Right.
And so we don't like a lot of games just sitting there not being played. And so it's like, no, I want to play one of those games, and I didn't get that one back out, and I should have, and now I can't remember how to play the game.
Right.
So this is a continuing problem that we are working on.
Yeah, another mistake that we've made is playing a game before we're actually ready to play the game. We aren't leveled up enough as a gamer to play the certain game that we're playing at that time. Now, this doesn't really happen anymore.
No.
Because we've played enough games and know how to play games now well enough that we don't really run into this.
Yeah.
But it did happen quite a bit in our journey of getting into the board game hobby.
Yeah, because we were excited.
Yeah.
So we were like, oh, let's try this type of game, and let's try this type of game.
Yeah. The first time this happened that I can really think of, like the biggest time, the major time this happened, was with Marvel Champions.
Yes.
We had never done any deck building or any kind of game with that level of complication, and now it's like an
it doesn't
easy
seem
game.
hard at all.
It's like really easy, and not it's hard to imagine why we struggled with it, but we did.
We did. Both of us did.
Yeah. And part of that is because we didn't play it at the right player count for that game. But anyway, that was the first time that I remember, like, oh, we aren't ready for this game.
Right.
Another time that it happened was when we got Gloomhaven.
Uh-huh.
But we were far enough along at that point that we could work through those issues while we played it.
Yeah, it was one of those games that, oh, we played this wrong. Oh, well, let's just keep going, and we would fix it as we go.
Yeah.
And it was such a long campaign that by the time we were finished with Gloomhaven, we kind of had figured it all out.
Yeah.
But with Marvel Champions, I don't know what the deal was with that, but we were just, it was like we were like trudging through it, like trying to figure it out. And I actually still feel that way, like with Root, when we tried Root.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know what's wrong with me. I cannot figure out this game. We've never been taught by someone who knows the game.
Yeah.
We've only tried to read the rules, watch rules videos and things like that. And I feel like we're playing the game, but like I still feel like something's missing.
Yeah, to me, that's not necessarily about the game is too much for us. It's like
Maybe.
It's like there's something that is not working for us in that game.
Maybe that's what it is.
It's because we've spent a lot of time trying to learn that game
For
well.
sure.
Like we watched videos and did the walkthrough and the rule book and read the rule book multiple times and all those things, and we've played the game, I think, correctly. It's just not a game that I feel like is exciting to us in the same way that it's exciting to a lot of other people.
Yeah. And I've heard it takes time.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Anyway, so maybe that one's not a good example of us just not being ready for it. But that's I had the same feeling.
Yeah.
Like
it does.
I had the same feeling of like, I don't feel like I'm ready for this game yet. But that did happen early on with some Euro games as well, especially like games that had a lot of different like choices where you could maybe place a worker. I can place a worker here, and you would be like, that's too much for me. Like it was too overwhelming. I don't know where to go or what to do. Yeah. Even though you could do any of it, it was like, I am not ready for that.
And that's on me as a gamer, because I'm not the kind of guy who's like, well, I'll just take this path and see what happens.
Right, that's true.
Because I really like to have the best plan in my mind to win the game. Right. And in those kinds of games, it doesn't work that way.
Right.
You take a different
a
paths all the
strategy.
time.
You
Yeah.
take a certain strategy and try it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I've grown in that, and to the point where I can play those games now without feeling overwhelmed for the most part. I still do sometimes, but that's just me as a gamer needing to grow past that.
Right, but that's kind of the mistake, is like playing a game before you're ready. Like maybe
agree.
if we had waited on some of those heavier Euros,
Yeah.
you might have enjoyed them a lot better now
Yeah.
playing them than you would have at that time. Like just we should have eased into
That's
that a little
true.
bit
We
more.
should have.
We just didn't know.
Yeah.
You don't know what you don't know.
That's right. We're telling you this, so maybe it helps you.
Yeah, exactly.
Another one is ignoring a game because of the theme,
Mm-hmm.
or the opposite of that. Go gravitating to a game because of the theme,
Definitely.
which are not necessarily in themselves bad things to do.
No, I think theme is very helpful in a game.
It is, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's a good game for you or a good game overall.
That's right.
We thought of some examples of this for us, like Gnome Hollow seems like a great theme for us.
Yes, tile placement, so cute,
Yeah.
all the things.
Yeah, but we just didn't enjoy it.
No, it
we just didn't
work
think it
as
was
well
a good
as-
game.
Yeah, it was okay. It
Sure,
was
it's fine. It's fine.
It just wasn't what I wanted it to be.
Yeah, we were let down by it, I
Yes.
guess, is the point.
Yeah.
And then
On the flip side of that, we talked about space base. Because neither one of us are super into the space theme.
Right.
And space base doesn't have it's not really compelling.
It's not
art.
exciting.
It's not.
It doesn't bring a lot of excitement
It doesn't look extremely
from
good.
the box. Yeah. But fantastic game.
Yes, so much. And we had a
love it.
blast with it.
Yes.
So it didn't matter that it didn't look amazing.
Right. Yeah. And so there's like the space, I know there are a lot of good games in the space theme.
Yes.
And so that's something that we'll probably venture into
more and
more as we go, even though it's not like this theme that excites us the most.
Right.
You can still have tons of good games.
But there was good games like Distilled is one. Like we don't drink, we're not really interested in alcohol at all, but we played the game and absolutely loved it. It's a great game.
Yeah.
And so there's things
Fantastic.
like that just sometimes happen. Like I really enjoyed Stamp Swap. I'm not super excited about stamps,
Yeah.
but the art was actually good. It's a really fun game. So like there's it just happens over and over and over where I'm like, I'm not super into this, but then the gameplay is exciting and fun.
Right, exactly. Well, I've thought of another one that fits in this category, and that is, for me at least, Obsession.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So before you sucked me into Downton Abbey,
Mm-hmm.
I would have hated that theme.
Yes.
Like I would have said, this is going to be such a boring game for me.
Yeah.
But it's one of my favorite games of all time.
I know, it's such a great game.
It's a great game. Anyway, so don't get hung up on theme.
Yes.
Either way. Let it be a factor for you, but don't put too much weight into it.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. One thing that we have also done is played with the wrong player count. So we kind of talked about this before when we talked about Marvel Champions, because we started off playing Marvel Champions at 4 players when we tried it out. And that's just too many players for Marvel Champions.
Yeah.
It is such a better game at 2. I mean, it's not even close. It's a better game at 2.
Yeah.
And we've done this with actually quite a few games. Like playing it at max player count a lot of times isn't the best way to play that game.
Right.
And I don't care what the publisher says. I know that they kind of have to put, like, they want the biggest range that they can have because it's going to get the most people purchasing that game.
Yeah.
But sometimes games just should not be played at higher player counts. I know, like, a lot of the Span games all go up to 5 players, and I just don't know that I would want to play at one of the Span games at 5 players.
Right. Unless you had 5 players who were very familiar with the game.
Yes, that's true.
Can make quick decisions.
Right.
So
that goes for like all the Euros, I think.
Yes.
If you're playing at that max player count, but everybody's really familiar with the game,
yes,
it may not be that big a deal.
But otherwise, if you've got people who struggle with AP, this guy, or somebody who's not familiar, or multiple people who aren't familiar with the game, it is going to feel like it's just going to slow down. It's going to bog down the game. It's going to feel slow and it's going to feel long.
I remember when you and I, like, because we used to always play games at 4, like almost exclusively at 4.
Yeah.
And then when you and I got into figuring out that we enjoyed games like just with the two of us, it was a game changer on so many games.
Right.
I was like, oh, these are great games. And when we were learning kind of new concepts for games, playing it at 2 was so nice.
It is.
Because you were kind of learning it and it's going back and forth and you didn't have to wait a long time for your turn. It's just, it made it so much easier.
Yeah.
And so now that we almost exclusively play at 2, we don't exclusively, but a lot of games at 2. Now it feels like, oh, I forgot this game is a lot longer when it's a 4-player game.
Right. Yeah.
The last mistake that we want to talk about is that we have not always organized the game really well when we put it back in the box after playing a game. And the reason this is a big deal is because sometimes games don't give you enough bags or don't have necessarily a good insert.
Yeah.
And if your game is not organized, when you go to play it again and you have to take out all of those components and try and sort through everything, it takes so much more time to get into the game.
Yeah.
And it can be really frustrating. It can bog down your setup and you don't want to necessarily take all that time when you're wanting to get into a game.
Yeah, that's the thing I was going to say is like you have to get over the hurdle of, oh, I got to sort everything out and set it all, and especially if it's a game that has a lot of components.
Right.
But if you organize it well, in which we've learned a lot of lessons in that and do it a lot better now, you have everything sorted out in baggies when you put it up, then it's really easy.
Yeah, it's not near as big a deal.
Dump all the baggies out in their spot and it's ready to go.
Right. It makes a huge difference to organize it. And we've even purchased some of those. What are those little trays called? Is it game trays?
Game tray. I think so. Yeah, component trays.
Yeah, but I think it's the brand. Anyway, I don't know either. But there are these little component trays.
They have lids.
And there's a couple of games where we've actually just stored those in the game themselves because it's so much easier.
Yeah.
But we also have a few extras that we could just pour a bag into it and it's ready to go and it's much faster.
Yep. And you don't have like I said, the barrier to get it on the table. It's just like, okay, well, let's play this game. Okay. And we already know it's going to be easy to set up for the most part. I mean, there's some games, like this one here.
Yes.
That's always going to be a bear to set up.
Yes.
Just because it's got literally 2,000 components or something like that, but
ridiculous amounts.
But most games, if you organize it well in the box, when you're putting it away, getting it out the next time is a breeze.
If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe.
And tell us down below in the comments, what are some mistakes that you've made in board gaming? What did we miss? We definitely would love to hear about it.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Bye.